The issue begins with Peter telling us that it's cold, even for the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and his thermal suit and his spider-boosted metabolism, it's still cold. He notes that Christmas is just 2 days away, and the holiday spirit is everywhere. You can almost sense the peace on earth and goodwill toward men in the atmosphere. The air gets so cold and frosty, Peter's web fluid starts to gum up and freeze. He lands on the rooftop of a building and says that this Christmas he's got only one person on his gift list, the sweetest, most wonderful person in his life. He'd do anything to make her Christmas perfect. Peter reflects on how Uncle Ben and Aunt May were always so kind and loving. Even though they didn't have much, Uncle Ben always made sure that Christmas felt special for them. They were all together, and that's what mattered the most. But Uncle Ben wasn't there anymore, and the Christmas angel figurine that he gave Aunt May in his last Christmas served as a remembrance of him and his love for them. But last year, while Aunt May was cleaning, she accidentally knocked the figurine off the table, shattering it into pieces. It broke her heart and made her sad, as if she had lost all her memories of Uncle Ben. So Peter made it his mission to find a figurine just like the one Aunt May had treasured. Peter finds a similar figurine for $100 on G-Bay, but if he doesn't sell some photos of Spider-Man in action to the Daily Bugle, he's going to be about $99 short. As he browses, his Aunt May suddenly enters the room, causing Peter to quickly turn off his screen. In sadness, she sighs and says that this Christmas is going to be smaller than usual since money is tight. Peter reassures her, saying it's all right. As long as they're together, it will be a great Christmas. His words cheer May up, bringing a smile to her face. The next day, as Peter walked through school, his mind was preoccupied with figuring out how to get the money to buy the figurine for his aunt. After all, she and Uncle Ben had done so much for him, sacrificing a lot so he could live with them, and he just wants to give her a gift that would show her how much that meant to him and how much he loves her. Noticing Peter's absent-mindedness, Flash quipped that Parker was lost in some physics equation or something, and decided to throw a snowball at him to snap him out of it. Peter's spider sense quickly alerted him to the incoming snowball, and he swiftly dodged, causing the snowball to hit another kid standing behind him. The kid, now angry, retaliated, sparking an impromptu snowball fight in the middle of the school grounds as Peter walked away. In the night, Peter muttered to himself that things are looking bad. He crossed town 3 times, searching for any kind of criminal activity he could photograph and sell to the Bugle, but everyone is happy and everyone is safe. He even checked in with the Fantastic Four and the Avengers to see if they needed any help, but found them happily busy preparing for the holidays. Peter heads to the Daily Bugle, where he overhears that a thief dressed as Santa is robbing stores. He approaches Jonah and asks if there's any assignment available, explaining that things have been pretty slow for him on the freelancing front. Jonah apologizes, saying he doesn't have anything for Peter. This time of year, all people want to see are pictures of Santa and kids, and Jonah already has plenty of both. He tells Peter to go out, enjoy himself, and have some fun. Peter then meets Betty and shares his situation with her. She reassures him, saying she knows his aunt and how kind Peter is. She tells him that his aunt wouldn't care about the cost or size of a gift, as long as it comes from the heart. Betty then gives Peter a gift, but he leaves feeling sad, realizing that he's been so focused on finding a gift for his aunt that he forgot about everyone else around him. After Peter leaves, Betty goes to Jonah's office, saying she needs to talk to him about something. While swinging through the city, Peter tells himself there's still a chance something might happen that he could capture and sell to the Bugle. He then spots a Santa running with a big bag, and immediately thinks it's the thief Santa he heard about at the Bugle. Peter quickly goes after him, catching him just before he can jump onto a train. The man, frustrated, angrily explains that he's just playing Santa at a retirement home and was running late, getting even more upset at Peter for making him miss the train. Then while Peter's saying how embarrassing that encounter was, he spots another Santa jumping through a window into an apartment. Peter swiftly strikes, telling this Santa that he must not have read the poem. He's supposed to come down through the chimney. Just as Peter was about to strike the man in the face, the woman quickly called out to Santa, who is her husband. Peter got hesitated and confused. The man, seizing the moment, explained, "I was just trying to make Christmas special for my kids. Play along or I'll press charges." He turned to his kids and said, "You guys wanted Spider-Man, and Santa brought you the real deal. He's going to stick around for a few minutes and show you some tricks." Peter spent some time with the kids, and then left them saying to himself how humiliating. Peter muttered to himself that it was stupid of him to attack those Santas without his spider sense warning him. Suddenly, his spider sense tingled, alerting him to danger. He turned to see a Santa holding a large bag, weaving hurriedly through the pedestrians. Without hesitation, Peter sprang into action, chasing after the suspicious Santa. Peter quickly webbed his camera into position and leaped toward the Santa, ripping off the mask and beard to reveal Doc Ock underneath. Without missing a beat, Peter shot a glob of sticky webbing at Doc Ock's eyes, blinding him momentarily. As Doc Ock struggled, he pulled off a second mask, revealing that he was actually the chameleon all along. The chameleon swiftly lunged at Peter, but Peter responded by shooting another round of sticky webbing, blinding him once more. The chameleon, desperate to escape, tried to run away from Peter. However, blinded by the sticky web, he stumbled straight into a wall and knocked himself out. Wasting no time, Peter rushed to the Daily Bugle to sell his photos to Jonah. But when he arrived, Robbie told him that he's sorry. Jonah went home to be with his family, and he won't be back until after the holidays. Peter returns home and sits at his desk, feeling down. He glances at his clogged web shooter and says, "I caught the chameleon and stopped the Santa robberies, but what do I have to show for it? No present for Aunt May, and my web shooters are clogged with glue." He looks at the broken figurine and then at the clogged web shooter. Suddenly, an idea comes to him. Peter remembers Betty's words. A gift doesn't need to be expensive or new. It just needs to come from the heart. Thinking about it, he realizes Aunt May wouldn't want a new figurine. She'd want the one Uncle Ben gave her, even if it's broken. The next morning, Peter is surprised by how many presents Aunt May got him, especially since she had told him that this Christmas would be tight due to money struggles. She reassures him, saying, "The important thing is that you love them, but we'll have to be careful with our electric bill for the next month or so." Peter hands her his gift, and Aunt May carefully unwraps it. As she sees what's inside, she begins to tear up and says, "Peter, it's perfect." She hugs him tightly and says, "Merry Christmas." Peter hugs her back and says, "Merry Christmas, Aunt May." When they start opening the Christmas cards, they find one from Jonah. Upon opening it, they discover a check for $250 with a note that reads, "Merry Christmas, Parker. Don't spend it all in one place." Peter smiles and turns to Aunt May, saying, "Looks like we might not have to worry so much about the electric bill next month."